Hi guys, I hope you have got some coffee or tea or Milo or whatever you guys like for our story time. Welcome everybody, and I am still in Nakhon Si Thammarat, south of Thailand, in the city of Nakhon Si Thammarat. And welcome so much for joining again. I'm happy to see you guys, and Ashley and I, we really do appreciate all of your support and such. Yes, so I have a small cup of coffee. I hope you've got something to drink. Welcome. And I have to, or I had the opportunity again to go and visit Ashley today, and yeah, she is healthy, and she is seems to me she's going through a little bit of a rough patch. And I did, if you guys, I don't know how you're able to see what I've posted from my side on the live link, but I've posted a prayer, and if you guys would please just stand with us, pray that prayer with us, then I would appreciate it very much. So on a lot of people, apparently they are getting sick, and these people in Southeast Asia, unfortunately, they just cannot get rid of COVID-19, and in Ashley's prison, they still get quarantined. So apparently, there's quite a few people who's sick at the moment, and she says she has to move room again because her room and the room next door, apparently, they're going to use for quarantine purposes. So yes, on May 30th, we will have our second in-contact, in-person visit again. But apparently, they are speaking about, canceling that visit, Ashley says. So please, let's pray against this, and that the people would just get healed, and that they won't cancel that visit for us, in Jesus' name. Yes, thank you so much, Layla and Anthea, for joining. Luki, Corinne, sorry. Thank you guys for joining again. Welcome to the reading session, and yes, please do pray the prayer, stand in prayer with us, the one that I've posted about the prayer points, and also those things that I'm really thankful for. We are really thankful for. Yes, we should always remember that if you're like me, sometimes, you forget to say thank you to God, what He's done, and, that He's faithful at the end of each day and such, and we just want to ask Him stuff. So, the amazing thing, remember yesterday I told you guys, those of you who also joined, that Ashley is now in a room where there are apparently more than one person that snores, and it's really very hard for her. So she hasn't been getting any sleep, and so today she said no. She spoke to her friend about it. It's an older woman, and she's also the other church leader, and she says, Pinnock, what do I do? I need my sleep and such. And Pinnock said to her, make sure that you pray in faith when you pray, that you actually believe God can do this for you, that He can, give you a good night's rest. And so, however she prayed, she just was so thankful because God granted her the sleep, and she got a good night's rest. So praise God for that. And then, with so many prayers going up, you know, the same for the same thing. I believe, you know, God, He really does honor that. And thank you for all of your prayers too, guys. Yes. So today I'm going to read to you a little story that I actually wrote back in 2023, which was around about July 8th. That's the date that I posted it. I've also got a little scratch in my throat, so sorry about that. It's been there since, I think, Monday. It's quite irritating. Okay, anyway, so it says, I am who you say I am, Lord. I am told that I am a prisoner. My name is replaced by a number. I am told to cut my hair and cut my nails. I am told what to do, when to do it, and for how long. Wherever I walk past an officer, I need to bow my head to be lower than theirs. And when talking to them, I need to crouch down so I can look up to them while being spoken to. Respect is earned, though, not forced, and I adhere to this tenuous display of respect only to keep the peace. My own peace isn't much affected, other than a slight annoyance each time. They want to abase us, but it is possible to keep your head high while bowing down. I won't allow their factitious authority to lessen my self-worth. They try to conform and subdue us, and outwardly they succeed. But my need for expression is still very real, despite the fact that they do all they can to extinguish any want of individuality in us. I get upbraided when I so much as braid my hair. I wear the same uniform every day and get punished should I like to swap pajamas with a friend for some variation. Being the only pair of blue eyes isn't enough, and I yearn to let some of myself show. Outside, I derive most all my girlish pleasures from my wardrobe. Makeup on a tropical island seems superfluous. Mine consisted of mascara, an eyebrow pencil, and a shade of brown lipstick. The sun and sea helped to lighten my natural highlights, and the rays bathed me in a healthy honey glow. I've always felt like makeup is there to enhance your features, not to mask yourself. If the occasion requires it, I'll go over to my friend's house to get dolled up. But day to day, I was pleased to just let my skin breathe. Quite ironic then that the very thing to give me some relief from these dull, repetitious days is nothing other than an eyeshadow palette. Even though I can't do my makeup for many consecutive days because of the poor quality that causes a tearful eye and irritation, I still take some days to put all my creativity into adorning my face. All the colors took some getting used to, but I appreciate the artistry. It's not a cover-up, it's just a different look. In my first year, I hardly touched my makeup, but the longer I stayed, I started to understand that it is something prisoners do for all kinds of reasons. To try and keep a semblance of normal life, to feel like we have somewhere to go. On weekdays to work, and on weekends we rest, and just to feel pretty as we are surrounded by so many things that aren't. When you come into prison that first day, you strip bare, and from there forward, you need to get by with only the basics. It is a major adjustment, and as hard as I tried, I couldn't maintain that which I worked so hard to achieve in my few years on the island. Growing up, I was never the athletic one. It was always my mother and my brother. My friends were always fitter. But I decided to change that. I wanted to know what it feels like to see my body as it was meant to be. Endless hours of working out, countless moments of self-control and discipline, and that familiar salty mixture of sweat and tears eventually brought me to my goal. So proud, so pleased. Such an immense sorrow that followed the downfall of prison life. All my hard work came undone as I languished in prison with an unhealthy diet, restless sleep, deplorable living circumstances, and unprecedented stress. I saw all that weight I lost slowly come back. My tan skin lost its color. My hair turned darker, and my heart grew heavier by the day. Adding to these disheartened feelings of mine, the only farang, surrounded by short ties with small frames, is the implications of not being allowed to have razors. Whatever you want to do needs to be done with a tweezer. It takes me a full 50 minutes to get my underarm hair plucked. 50 minutes. Most ties have never shaved their legs before because they hardly have any hair. But this is not the case with me. Left to grow wild, the hair reaches such an audacious length that it actually curls. I just couldn't accept this, so I laboriously and painfully went about removing it by threading. The victory was but short-lived. As the hair started growing, most formed ingrown hairs, and to make things worse, the unclean water caused an infection, and it took me 3 months to recover. And that it should be on my legs, the very part of my body that I like the least. It was emotionally scarring as well. I lapsed into despondency, bordering on self-aversion. I needed to come to terms with the natural state of my body. Another attempted beauty procedure would be too much to endure. It was the women around me who assured me I'm the only one attaching so much importance to something as trivial as leg hair. Their kind words helped me undergo emotional healing. I slowly nurtured self-love and acceptance anew. I know I'm not the only person who feels this way. Self-love doesn't always come naturally, and unfortunately, society doesn't make it easier on us. That is very true, isn't it, guys? What labels have you been given? As what do you label yourself? Well, I'm not comparing myself with others, I used to think. I'm comparing myself with me. Though, how can I do so when circumstances changed so drastically? Now I'm locked up in a cage for more than half of my day, every single day. Back then, I was running, swimming, boxing, working out 5 to 6 times a week, and on my off days, some snorkeling, hiking, or island hopping. It is important to differentiate between reasons and excuses, and the only way to do so is by being completely honest with yourself. As soon as your reasons turn into excuses, it's your responsibility to re-evaluate and pull yourself together. But as long as you know they're invalid reasons, You need to be kind to yourself and see things for what they are, and not allow others to convince you otherwise. People come and go, circumstances change, and priorities shift. It was me then, and it is me now. Self-love isn't always easy, and it isn't a once-off thing either. The Thais have this habit of asking, "So am I? Is it beautiful?" And at the beginning, I frowned upon the seemingly vain question, but then became more attentive. Their ingenuousness is absolutely refreshing. They love pointing out beautiful people or things, and they seem much easier to please than what I found the case to be in the Western world. But they also speak shockingly candid, and at times I'll be taking offense on behalf of the person being insulted, seeing that they don't take any themselves. They'll call her fatty to her face, and she'll respond as if you called her Susan. And no one would be worse off for it, because there is no denying it. She does have noticeable more meat to her bones than the rest. Though in the same breath, they'll also say what a gorgeous face she has. And when I look a second time, I see that is just true. On the other side of the spectrum, they'll shamelessly compliment someone who is attractive and talented, and won't shy away from mentioning their mood or social shortcomings either. It's a shame that such a pretty face never smiles, or lovely to look at, as long as she keeps her mouth shut. Lasting pulchritude, I cannot pronounce this word, sorry. Pulchritude is seen in speech, manners, and conduct. And there really isn't anything more sublime than when one's outside appearance is a true reflection of what is on the inside. I am a photographer, and just because they've separated me from my camera doesn't mean it's in their power to take away my eye for photography too. I love all kinds of photography, but capturing people is by far my favorite pursuit. I found much gratification in it when I realized that through my lens, I can show them something of themselves that perhaps they haven't seen before. It broke my heart knowing how many people believe themselves to be less than they are. But it got stitched back together when I saw their countenance upon viewing the final product. A look that says, "Wow, that's me." The secret wasn't some professional photo editing technique. It is much simpler than that. I encourage you to try it with every person you meet. You don't even need a camera for that exercise. Look for what makes them beautiful or handsome. I promise you, it is there. Does he have a refulgent pair of eyes, or is hers accentuated by lovely long lashes? Maybe it is in a beauty spot or freckles. Perhaps it is in the shape of their nails, tone of skin, curly hair, or that dimpled cheek and charming smile. And should you wish to compliment them, this is what you will compliment, and it will be sincere, because it is true. and they'll appreciate it as such. Just as it was my objective to search for that which makes any particular shot beautiful, unique, or noteworthy. So you too can train your eyes to look for those things with whoever you meet. By doing so, the rest of the picture will mollify under this adjusted focus. So am I? Yes, you are. Illness, old age, and death are part of the natural cycle of life, and our vessels are subject to these inevitable forces. Your good looks won't be with you forever, or at the very least, it will alter. Perhaps it is wiser than to attach more value to something less transitory, to a beauty that is more than skin deep. It was me then. It is me now. I may view myself in this period as having lost what I worked for, but I prefer looking at it this way. I'm still building on it. What I learned during that time is still with me, and it is to be found in my attitude toward life, not giving up the fight. All that self-discipline and determination and concentration can and is still being applied to my life on an appropriate scale, even though now much of it is being directed into other areas. Right now, more than ever, my priority is to look after my health and mental well-being. And hey, white skin doesn't look too bad either. There will always be things we like more or less than others, but we can't separate it from the whole. While it certainly is in our power to change whatever it is that we're not so fond of, kindly remind yourself of reasons, excuses, and changes. It is up to you to decide what is applicable to your current situation and then act accordingly. People like different things and will never be able to please everyone. I may have been labeled a prisoner or received scarring, either physical or emotional, but ultimately it's up to me to say just how much. I'll have these things define me. Perhaps we can learn from these two and stop getting so easily offended and start seeing things as they are. Honesty will get you far. Love yourself then. We are all made in God's image after all. I am who you say I am, Lord. For you formed my inward parts. You knitted me together in my mother's womb. I will praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are your works, and that my soul knows very well. With much love, Ashley. So this is, I think, one of my favorite pieces. And I was going to read you another one, but I think I see it's already almost half an hour later. So we will keep that for next week. Thank you so much, guys. Janet, Angela, Amira, Charlene, Claire, for joining. And yes, bless you guys. And may you have a wonderful weekend. And remember who you are. And yes, look for those things, those beautiful things in each person that you meet, and compliment them on that. God has never made rubbish. He's never made any of us ugly. But from our human standards, we tend to sometimes look at people and form our own opinions, which is not of God. So bless all you beautiful people, and have an amazing weekend, guys. Love you a lot. See you next week, and thank you. Thank you for all of your support. We really, really do appreciate it, guys. Bless you.